Okay, so we're going to talk about cheap gun. How do we put it? Cheap gun comparison. Guns under $401, $402.
Yeah, because one went over.
Yeah.
By $1.60
something.
some cents. That was my fault.
Yeah, we had to adjust a little bit. So why don't we talk about our first matchup, which is the Dagger and the P80 buy build shoot kit. So for those who don't know, the P80, I think they called it the BBS or BBA or something like that, was all the parts except for two things to build the P80. It was an 80% lower, drilled it out, put it together, and then shoot it. And then the Dagger is PSA's, Palmetto State Armory's intro. Is that their first pistol?
I think so. Their first actual
selling online, their brand pistol, 9mm. Also takes Glock mags, right?
Yes.
And let's start with which one. I think we came up with the Dagger as the winner between these two.
Yeah, that was.
And there was some very obvious reasons why the P80 kit didn't shoot. It was a single fire, had to rack the sled every time in order for it to shoot. Come to find out that the trigger pin holes were, the rear slide pin was slightly cockeyed, and so it does not, the recoil does not go back enough to eject the round and load the next one. So it is a bolt fired pistol.
Yeah, go with that.
And then the Dagger, it actually shot.
It did pretty well. You need to practice with it.
Yeah.
Just like with any firearm. But, I mean, it straight out of the box, there was no issues. This one had no walking trigger pin. I mean, it went where I wanted it to go.
And it would load the next round.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was pretty much a default victory.
Yeah. I think the starting price point for the PSA Dagger is $299.
Yes.
Or at least it was.
They go up from there.
Yep. You can get.
I checked, it still was.
They do have is it a no questions asked warranty?
I believe so.
For the Palmetto State does. Trigger has a nice clean break after breaking it in.
It's a little gritty though. First several hundred rounds.
It does come in different colors, different slide options, different optics cuts, and you haven't had any failure feeds or failure to ejects when shooting?
What was the hollow points? The IMIs?
Yeah.
I did have one of those fail.
Okay.
It was a failure to feed. I think that was the only issue I had with that one.
I think that sounds right.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, it was pretty flawless. I mean,
yeah.
Nothing needed to be adjusted. The sights were dead on. They weren't cockeyed.
As we'll get to later.
Yeah.
So between the Dagger and the P80 by build shoot kit, clear winner was Dagger because it would actually shoot. So for our next bracket, we have the Jericho and the P80 full size. You did this one. This P80 was already built out.
No. It was the AFT kit, the assemble for thyself.
Okay.
It was drilled out. You still had to assemble it, but yeah.
Okay. Right. It was still a serialized firearm.
The lower is still serialized. It was $365 something for the complete kit. Really simple to put together.
Yeah.
I mean,
did you have to buy any extra parts?
I did, but no, you don't have to. Everything's there. Trigger group, firing group. I mean, all of it's there. Slide's already assembled, so you don't have to mess with that. It's just you're building the lower. The only issue I would say is pay attention to your instructions because you can put the pin in at the wrong time, as I did with the slide stop, slide lock, whichever you want to refer to it on a Glock. It's up to you. But I pushed the pin too far and didn't realize it. I hadn't put it in yet. And trying to get it back out. It was a little bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
So pay attention to instructions. I mean, it did fire.
Okay.
It actually worked better than I thought it was going to be for, say, 350 build yourself. Most of them I've seen had troubles either ejecting or even chambering around,
Mm-hmm.
or the slide not coming back under recoil. I was actually shocked. It worked, and it worked pretty well, but I could think of better things that I would rather spend that money on. Trigger was a little rough, surprisingly. It was a little gritty, and it did not like the Federal Syntax.
And it also says, you said here, some issues feeding steel case ammo.
That was the other thing, yeah. Steel case did not want to feed at all. It didn't even want to extract it. In fact, there was 2 casings that it looked like it just took the chunk out of them. Don't use steel case in that whatsoever.
I would actually go so far as to say don't use steel case, period. I mean, if that's the only thing you can afford, fine. But
brass is coming down, so...
Yes.
But for a torture test, I mean, I want to know what'll work and what won't.
Yep. Now the Jericho. We will have to give this a big caveat. When I purchased it over a year ago, it was $350 used. About $450, I believe, new, something like that. But you could find plenty of used ones for the $350. So we added it to the list. Looking today, used is going for more than new and pushing the $500 range. So we left it on here because you can get them used for cheap. So which one of these won?
I would have to say the Jericho.
Yeah, I agree.
All the way around, it's a lot better than the P80.
One of the big downsides that I think the Jericho has is very teeny tiny iron sights. They're like half the height of everything else.
Yeah.
But everything else is just fine. Now let's go back to the other side, or not back. Let's go to the other side of the bracket. And we've got the PX9, the SDS PX9 versus the Yeet Cannon. The High Point G2 Yeet Cannon? Something like that.
I don't remember now.
Yeah.
C9.
Oh, the C9. That's right.
But yes, I think that's the Gen 2.
Yes,
C9.
it's the C9 Yeet Cannon G2 or
Yes.
something like that. Okay.
Long, pointless name.
Yes. Go internet.
For a brick of a gun.
Yeah, this one's not even a competition.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no competition here. The PX9 wins this one hands down. The Yeet Cannon is just way too heavy. Only has 10 round mags. You can get up to 30 round mags in them, I think. But I've heard that the High Point 30 round mags are very unreliable, and the Pro Mag version isn't much better.
Yep.
It's also very picky on ammo. The Freedom Munitions ammo that we had, it failed every round. Failure to feed every round. My guess is that the Freedom ammo was light on powder.
I had that thought too.
And so it didn't push that heavy slide all the way back.
And see, that was their new, not their reman.
The Federal Syntax we shot with it, I did have one failure to feed, but it was like the last round, the third mag that I had put through it. And it was just awkward to hold. Huge. Over-engineered. It was okay in accuracy. It was not anything to write home about. It sure made a statement when you were shooting it, though. Everybody laughs at you. Especially when you pull out like a Glock Gen 5, Glock G17 Gen 5 next to it.
Yeah.
The one con, since it is heavy, the one pro, since it is heavy, it does have low recoil.
Yes.
So it's like 10 pounds.
It's like holding a sledgehammer.
Yeah, and at full extension can get very tiring. I don't even think we have to go into the pros of the PX9 because the D cannon was so bad. And we'll talk about it in a sec.
Yes.
So G3 versus, so this would be the Taurus G3 and Toro. We did both.
Yes.
We did the G3 and the G3 Toro.
Just lumped them into one.
Yep, about the same.
They're the same gun. The only difference is one has an optics cut slide, the other one doesn't.
Okay. The Toro has the optic cut slide.
Right.
So the G3s versus a Derringer. The Derringer has got price going for it. It was less than $200 out the door. It's like $180 with tax. $150, $160, something like that. 2-shot Behrman Derringer. I'll have to admit it was kind of fun to shoot. It was weird to shoot. I'm not a wheel gun man at all. I don't like wheel guns, and this was just a non-rotating wheel gun for me.
The recoil's not to be expected.
You don't have anything to hold on to.
Yeah.
So the recoil is terrible. Not only that, but at 10 yards, I was aiming center of mass and getting headshots.
So that's what, about a foot and a half?
I think I aimed at the floor when I put it at 25 yards and clipped the bottom, 2 or 3 feet, 4 feet up, bottom of the target.
Sights are horrible.
Sights are horrible. It's kind of like the canon. You get a lot of looks when you're shooting it. I would say that the derringer, so the only issue I had with the derringer was there was one Freedom Munitions round that was a light primer strike. Everything else shot fine. I've actually considered that derringer as a deep conceal, last resort gun, black tie event type thing.
So you at least have something, and it's
Yes.
there, and it's available. You know how to use it. I've had that thought since you bought that thing, and we started talking about it. It's a good point. I mean,
it's skinny. There's no magazine. It's just there. The other thing is that you have to cock the hammer every time, and so you could throw it in your pocket, and it will not fire.
Yep.
No amount of key jingling, finger in the trigger guard, nothing will get it to fire unless you cock the hammer. And it is a pain to cock that hammer. And once it's cocked, it actually intrudes on some of the handle, the grip, and so it makes it even smaller.
Yep.
So, like I said, last resort, that's the only thing that I could get past due to what I'm wearing or security or whatever type thing.
I mean, that's about the only word to go with it.
Yeah.
Or a backup for your backup.
A backup to the backup to the backup. I'd go third or fourth on that one, yeah. But the G3, no problems.
Yeah. It's got some pretty big pros to it.
Like what?
Well, one, it's great for dry firing. So-called restrike capabilities, which is basically just double action. I mean, it's great to sit there and just practice your trigger pulls. Also, it found out it takes the SIG P226 mags, too. So you
Same ones as the PX9.
Yes. So you can shove an 18-rounder in there, you can shove a 22-rounder in there, and they're even cheaper than the Taurus mags.
$250, I think you said, on sale or something like that.
I paid $280 for the regular G3, and for the G3 Toro was $365, $375. And I've got the receipt in there.
Yeah, and you said the only difference between the two is the optics cut to slide.
One's optics cut, and then the other, which comes with different plates, so you can do your
$100 more for less metal.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. But you have 4 different plates, so you can choose 4 different footprints.
It comes with does it come with the plates?
It comes with the plates.
Okay.
Which doesn't Glock sell theirs separately?
No. Well, I should say the Gen 5 that I bought had the 4 plates.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I did not know. I don't pay attention to Glocks that much.
Okay, so that's our first round. The Dagger 1, the Jericho 1, the PX9 1, and the G3. So let's move down a level and do the Dagger and the Jericho. I'm almost thinking I should change my opinion on this one.
Why is that?
Just for the sole fact that you can't get a Jericho for under $402 at the current market. If it was $450, I might let it slide.
Yeah, but it's over 5 now.
It's 5 and above. In terms of the 2 pistols, the Jericho wins.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Quality.
Yep.
I mean, just
quality, workmanship,
not
reliability.
Bashing, yeah. I'm not bashing PSA. I have several Daggers. I lost count how many I have now. I mean, they're good, but there's something to be said for quality, and the Jericho has it.
And you will pay for it right now.
Yes.
For sure. Like I said, I think I bought mine used. It came with 1 mag, but it's my bedside go-to gun, sitting there right beside my bed.
And see, mine's the Dagger. And in fact, I just finished that one build with throwing on the red dot on the 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I pieced that one together.
That's nice about the Dagger. You can.
Yeah.
Does it take Gen 3 internals?
Yes.
So it's upgradable. It's highly customizable. Takes Glock mags.
PSA is now doing custom Daggers with different slides. They got gold-plated slides now.
Different triggers. I saw the Zev. Is that how you pronounce it? Zev trigger. In
the Safari, different Cerakote jobs now. They've got camo patterns. I mean, they've really stepped it up.
Have they done?
Oh, they have 4 different slide cuts too on top of the standard. I have sent in 3 of mine now. And it's been, you sit on the phone a little bit. You're going to no matter who you you deal with in any company, you're going to deal with automated lines. But my experiences so far have been actually really, really good. They first came out and had the walking trigger pin issue. I mean, they were right on top of it. They were looking into it, and if you had the problem, get up a return set up and send it in.
And they fixed it, sent it back, upgraded the part or two.
Yeah, I had it back within a week.
Yeah.
Which is faster than when I had to send in and that was a month I waited for that, and that was over a safety issue. Literally, the safety itself would not fully engage, and I was kind of like...
Actually, I think I sent the bodyguard in for the same issue, and it took them a while too.
I don't know if that's because they got an influx in at the same time, or...
Yeah, maybe.
But as far as I knew on that one, they were doing it in rollouts so that you had this set, they would do this set, and then this set, so that they wouldn't be...
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know how Smith & Wesson works. I don't know how Palmetto works, but all I know is I sent...
So far, Palmetto has seemed to be a great company for great customer service.
Yes, I know some people have had issue with them, though. I can only speak to my experience.
That's with every company.
I mean, I'm sure some point I'll probably get...
You'll probably have a bad experience once, yeah.
But
so I'm changing my win on this one to the Dagger.
I could see that as fair.
It's
based on current market value.
Right, based on current market, I think the Dagger is a winner here.
I will say this: they do have some optics ready versions now for the Dagger that are $350 instead of being $400. I know when I first wanted to get one of the optics ready, it was $379 or $399. Now they're down to $349, and now they've got and it's Zephyri?
Sure, we'll go with that.
And they got ones with Zev triggers in them. Like I said, they got 3 different camo patterns. I don't know what you think of the
Desert multicam? No, not particularly.
I mean, I sent you the black one. I like the camo pattern. I just don't like it on the gun itself. They've really blown up with this one, and I mean, they did announce I'm going to call it their 19X size, full-size frame, 19 size slide, and their micro dagger.
26?
I don't remember. I would like to get at least just one of those each prime. And $359 now for RMR cut with 1/3 sights. So yeah, they come with night sights and stuff. You can find them for $299 with night sights. Just come a long ways. So yeah.
So Dagger.
Yeah, price wise and availability.
On the other side of the quarterfinals is the PX9 versus the G3.
Both of them were optics ready pistols.
The PX9 came with a threaded barrel. Did the G3?
No.
Okay.
But they now have their tactical version, but that's $500.
Okay.
I think. Totally different price category.
I liked the PX9. I liked it so much that when you decided to sell it, I bought it.
Yeah. And I just sat here and admitted before we started this that I kind of wanted another one, because the more I sat here and thought about it, the more I kicked myself for doing that.
Yep. It's got a good trigger. It's accurate. It takes the SIG P226 mags. It's got a threaded barrel right out of the box, optics cut right out of the box. It is also the highest priced one we have at $401.50-ish, but all that stuff comes standard.
Yes, fiber optic front side.
Replaceable, changeable fiber optic front. It came with the yellow and the red.
Yes, and flared or magwell flared. The cleaning, the brush don't count.
Everything comes with brush, slide lock.
But it came with the plates too.
Yep.
For the optics.
I need to get an optic for it.
And it also came with the speed loader.
Okay. I don't remember that, but I'm sure it did. Mechanic did too.
Did it?
Yeah. I don't know if that's becoming more common or...
I'm starting to think it is. But I got to admit, it was nice they included one standard, 18 round, and then an extended 22 round. So that was nice. You go through a box real quickly that way.
Yes. This is a Turkish import.
Yep. SDS Imports brings it in. It's a T-Sauce, I think, was on the box. Oh, yes. And the trigger was like 4.5 pounds. Did you?
I have not measured it, but it was...
It's a flat-face trigger that is...
Good.
Yeah.
There's no issues with that trigger.
Oh, and the
reset was good. The take-up was good.
And the multiple grip modules for both the sides and the back strap. I didn't play with them. I don't know if you have. I probably should have played with them before I decided to sell it. But, I mean, the fact that there's so many different choices for one gun right there in the box that it can be made to fit almost any person. Not everybody, don't get me wrong, but there's a wide variety there that are going to be able to pick it up and use it. And the recoil is so minimal. I don't know about you, but my follow-up shots were pretty quick.
I don't know. I think I got chewed out at the range for shooting too fast.
Well, I did too, so...
First time ever in how many years I've been going to the range, he came up and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, slow it down."
It was really hard to with that one.
I mean, I was not going 1,000, 1,000, bang, but still.
Yeah.
I was not doing a mag dump.
Yeah. It is a joy to shoot. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
And
I think I was accurate with the iron sights with it. Which I hate iron sights.
And see, I love them.
And so with this gun, I can actually use the iron sights.
Is that because blacked out rear and 5-hour optic front?
No, because my 5.7 has that. I think my Ruger has that. One of the Canic. Sorry, the Canic,
I thought
not the
you
Ruger.
put an optic on it.
I did, but I shot it first without.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm. PX9 versus G3. I think the PX9 wins.
Overall, better trigger.
Yeah.
I mean, just it is a lot better. Which, by the way, I did get an email from them.
Which
SDS.
one? Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they are going to be bringing some holsters to market for them.
Oh, cool.
So that would be extremely nice because trying to find one is very hard. I don't know if you have looked since you've gotten it, but it is almost non-existent.
I never really planned to carry this one, so I have not specifically looked. I think I did the first day or two and realized, it was all generic holster type stuff. Now we're down to our final game, PX9 versus the Dagger. And I think if you're still with us,
minus the whole off-topic,
minus the off-topic stuff, I think it's pretty obvious which one won. And it kind of surprised us. Until you start thinking about it, until we started, out of the chute, no, that was not the one that I thought would win. But the PX9 was a clear favorite for all the reasons we stated throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, and see, I love my daggers too, and that's what's, I have a few.
Yeah.
I keep buying them.
Yep.
Why, I don't know, other than they work for me.
They work, yeah.
But yeah,
for the price, for the accessories you get, for everything, just the PX. So would you say that the PX9 edges out the Dagger? It's not a overwhelming, stomping.
I would honestly say it is better all the way around. And the reason I say,
not by miles.
Not by miles, no. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The only difference I see between the two would be, one, you got everything in the box with the PX9. Optics ready. You don't have to worry about anything. That right there takes care of that for those who want optics.
Threaded barrel. You
don't have to remove the rear sight to put an optic on. That's taken care of. You don't have to do that with the Dagger either, but most of them, like the Canic and the SIG, I know you have to on some.
Not the Glock,
no. But all the way around the PX9, between the trigger, the capacity.
I guess the one thing that the Dagger has going for it is the Glock parts compatibility.
Being able to swap parts.
Any Gen 3 part in the Dagger.
Well, not
any. Okay, most.
Yes.
Gen 3 parts can go in the Dagger. That's a big win. But I think I think the PX9 better trigger, better feel, better accuracy, more stuff.
Less recoil.
Yeah.
It was almost non-existent for me. And that was just, I don't know about you, but it was really flat shooting.
Yeah. Yep.
And see, the thing is, the slide, I got pictures of it. It's not much. In fact, I think it was actually shorter than the Dagger by like 2 millimeters. I know it's not much in the grand scheme of things, but the slide itself was. And I wished I would have had the threaded barrel at the time, so I would have thrown that in the Dagger.
To compare, yeah. Yep. There's going to be issues. There's going to be QC issues.
But really,
But these two are, out of the ones we tested, most definitely the best ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so SDS wins, and we'll have to figure out if there's any more cheap guns we can compare it to. It was fun to do. We had most of them already. Didn't have to buy that many to round out our 8.
I need to got a bunch more to go shoot. There was one thing on the SDS, and it was...
A negative?
Well, that's what I'm looking at. Oh, yeah, the front sight.
That's right. But it shot straight.
It did.
So...
if it
I'm torn. Well,
or cockeyed,
yeah,
I should say.
I'll have to pull a level out or square out and see if it was just lighting or if it's actually bent. We'll have to get that out. That's definitely one con for the SDS.
It worked.
It did.